This is what he's announcing today. He has said that the reciprocal tariff, this is Scott Bessent who announced it, the reciprocal tariff on China, where we jacked ours up to 125 and then they jacked theirs up on us to 125 for all goods, is now going to 10%.
The moment Megyn Kelly stepped into her studio that morning, there was an unmistakable tension in the air. She had spent sleepless nights piecing together a story that could shake the foundations of the fashion industry itself. For years, New York Fashion Week had been the glittering crown jewel of style and innovation, a global stage where designers dazzled and dreams took flight. But this year, it all came crashing down in a sudden, jaw-dropping shutdown that left insiders scrambling for answers, and the public starving for the truth. What no one realized was that behind the glitz and glamour, a ruthless battle was raging. In the shadows, Megyn Kelly had uncovered what many feared to speak aloud: the influential Chinese manufacturers, whose factories churned out the bulk of the garments that defined this season's runways, had allegedly pulled the strings to force the entire event to a halt. The revelation hit like a thunderclap. Kelly didn't mince words on her podcast, laying bare the aggressive tactics used by these manufacturers to sabotage the event. "They didn't just withdraw funding," she thundered, voice cracking with righteous fury. "They sabotaged an institution that millions look to for inspiration, because the industry dared to challenge their control." Fans were stunned, emotions running wild as the shocking accusations set off a firestorm online. Behind the scenes, tensions exploded into chaos. Fashion insiders revealed that talks between event organizers and key Chinese manufacturers had been fraught with hostility for months. According to anonymous sources, the manufacturers were livid after several designers publicly criticized their labor practices and supply chain ethics during the last fashion week. Rumors swirled that the manufacturers demanded that these outspoken designers be blacklisted, and when the demands weren't met, they pulled their financial backing, effectively strangling the event. The fallout was immediate and brutal. Designers found themselves caught in the crossfire, many scrambling to protect their reputations and relationships. "It felt like a dagger in the back," one well-known designer confided. "We were blindsided. Suddenly, the runway was silent, and our collections would never see the light of day." Megyn didn't stop at naming names. She went further, exposing leaked messages between high-profile executives and manufacturing moguls. The texts revealed a chilling strategy to weaponize economic pressure and silence dissent. Kelly played clips on her show of heated phone calls, where the fury was palpable. "You think you can just cross us and get away with it?" one voice barked. "We control the fabric of this industry, literally and figuratively." This revelation sent shockwaves through families connected to the business as well. One prominent fashion dynasty, torn between loyalty to legacy and survival, became the epicenter of a bitter internal feud. The patriarch was rumored to have sided with the manufacturers while his children pushed back, desperate to protect. U.S.
said the reductions will last for 90 days while the talks continue. So it's higher. We're definitely charging more for Chinese goods to come into this country.
Creative freedom. The family was left divided, their arguments spilling into the public eye, fueling more speculation. On social media, fans expressed outrage and disbelief. How can a handful of manufacturers wield this much power? One tweet questioned, while another read, "Megyn Kelly just uncovered the dark underbelly of fashion. This is insane." The hashtag #Thayer's Fashion Week shutdown began trending globally, igniting debates across platforms. Yet, the story grew even more tangled. Just as the industry tried to regain its footing, Megyn dropped another bombshell: allegations that some designers may have secretly colluded with the manufacturers to sabotage competitors, fueling the shutdown for personal gain. Insiders whispered about secret meetings and backroom deals, turning friends into foes and rivals into conspirators. The drama wasn't just confined to boardrooms and backstage areas. It spilled into the personal lives of those involved. Relationships were strained, friendships tested, and reputations tarnished. One source close to the manufacturers claimed emotions ran so high that security had to be called in during a heated confrontation between two top designers. Amidst the chaos, Megyn Kelly stood firm, her voice unwavering as she vowed to continue exposing the truth no matter the cost. "This isn't just about fashion," she declared. "It's about who controls the culture, who dictates the rules, and who pays the price when power is abused." But just when it seemed the story couldn't get any more explosive, a shocking new development surfaced, one that threatened to turn everything on its head. A mysterious leak revealed that not all manufacturers were united. A rival faction was said to be plotting a counterstrike, ready to break the monopoly and reclaim the industry's future. And that's where the real war begins. The revelation of a rival faction within the Chinese manufacturing world sent shockwaves through the industry, stirring whispers of an all-out power struggle that could reshape fashion's future. Sources close to the matter leaked that this breakaway group was growing restless, tired of the aggressive tactics wielded by their competitors who had orchestrated the New York Fashion Week shutdown. They believed the time had come to fight back and restore some balance to the fractured industry. Megyn Kelly's relentless reporting ignited a spark within this secret faction, emboldening them to come forward with evidence of corruption and coercion they claimed had long been hidden from public view. Meanwhile, tensions continued to escalate among the designers and organizers who found themselves trapped in a web of deceit and manipulation. Several prominent designers, once allies, now eyed each other with suspicion and...
But Besant says the consensus as the U.S. met with China over the weekend was that we will reach a fuller trade agreement that, quote, neither side wants a decoupling.
Resentment. The pressure cooker environment led to heated confrontations behind closed doors, where accusations of betrayal flew thick and fast. One renowned designer, who wished to remain anonymous, revealed, "It's like a battlefield. Trust is a luxury none of us can afford anymore." The emotional toll was evident in every whispered conversation and stormy meeting, with careers and reputations hanging precariously in the balance. Social media buzzed with theories and speculation, fans desperate for any scrap of new information. Comment sections exploded with fiery debates about loyalty, greed, and the real masterminds behind the crisis. Megyn's loyal followers praised her fearless uncovering of the truth, calling her a hero fighting a corrupt system, while critics accused her of sensationalism and stoking unnecessary drama. Yet there was no denying the power of the story she was telling. The lines between fact and fiction blurred, but the emotional intensity was undeniable. In a particularly explosive episode on her podcast, Megyn shared never-before-heard audio clips that painted a vivid picture of the internal chaos. In one chilling exchange, a manufacturing executive berated a designer for speaking out, threatening to blacklist them across multiple markets. The designer's voice cracked as they pleaded for understanding, but the response was cold and unforgiving. "You're either with us or out of the game," the executive hissed. This raw glimpse into the power dynamic sent shivers through the audience and left many questioning how much influence these manufacturers really held. Adding fuel to the fire, a leaked email chain exposed a clandestine meeting between key players in the rival factions, discussing plans to destabilize each other and seize control. The language was ruthless, filled with threats and promises of revenge. Industry insiders were left reeling, some calling it a full-blown corporate war disguised as a fashion crisis. The stakes had never been higher, and the fallout promised to ripple far beyond the runway. Amidst this storm, the personal lives of those caught in the crossfire began to unravel. The family at the center of the drama faced mounting pressure as public scrutiny intensified. Their once united front cracked under the weight of betrayal and conflicting loyalties. Rumors surfaced that the patriarch was secretly negotiating with the rival faction, igniting fierce arguments with his children who feared their legacy was at risk. Emotional confrontations became public spectacles, further muddying the waters and feeding the media frenzy. Megyn Kelly's fearless pursuit of the story continued to draw both admiration and backlash. She released a scathing open letter condemning the manipulation and greed corrupting the fashion world. "This is about more than clothes and catwalks," she declared. "It's about power, control, and the voices being silenced in the process." Her words resonated with many, sparking protests and calls for reform within the industry. But just as it seemed a breakthrough might be on the horizon, another bombshell dropped. An anonymous tip revealed that certain designers might have orchestrated parts of the shutdown themselves, colluding with manufacturers for competitive advantage. This revelation sent shockwaves through the community, further blurring the lines between victim and perpetrator. Friends turned on friends, and trust became an endangered commodity. The story spiraled into a labyrinth of alliances, betrayals, and secrets, each twist more startling than the last. Industry veterans were left, wondering who would emerge.
It's like it had to happen. The markets were just too bad, the bond market in particular.
Victorious in this high-stakes game of power and prestige. And as the drama unfolded, Megyn Kelly stood at the eye of the storm, unflinching and relentless in her quest to expose the truth behind the New York Fashion Week shutdown. Just when the industry thought it had reached a breaking point, the stakes soared even higher with yet another shocking twist. Megyn Kelly revealed an explosive new piece of information: a secret alliance between a group of influential designers and a covert faction within the Chinese manufacturing world. This unholy alliance, forged in whispers and backroom deals, had allegedly been plotting for months to seize control of the fashion empire that New York Fashion Week represented. Sources close to the situation described it as a power grab of unprecedented scale, and fans were left stunned by the sheer audacity of the players involved. The implications were staggering. Not only had these designers allegedly conspired to sabotage their rivals by weaponizing their relationships with manufacturers, but they had also manipulated the media narrative to hide their tracks. Megyn played leaked phone calls where designers casually discussed plans to take out the competition and control the runway narrative. The cold, calculating tone in their voices sent chills down the spine of her audience. "This isn't just fashion. It's war," Kelly declared passionately on air, her voice heavy with disbelief. Meanwhile, tensions within the families of these prominent designers reached a boiling point. One insider revealed that the families were torn apart by the scandal, with some members advocating for transparency and others desperate to protect their wealth and status. The pressure took a personal toll, leading to emotional confrontations that spilled into public view. At a recent gala, a heated argument between two siblings over their family's involvement made headlines, exposing deep fractures beneath the polished veneer of glamour. Social media erupted in response to Megyn's latest revelations. Fans were divided, some cheering Kelly for uncovering the corruption, others accusing her of stirring drama for ratings. The hashtag #JarchFashionWars trended worldwide as viewers debated who to trust in this labyrinthine scandal. Influencers and celebrities weighed in.
These are pieces of artwork. These artisans train years and years to make one of these bags.
Fabrice is doing the last stitching on a Kelly bag. A Kelly takes around 13 hours to be made, depending on the materials that we make it. Our artisans, they need to do 4 years of training to be able to manufacture a Kelly bag.
Wilhelma says, made in China, does it feel cheaper? No, that's not quality issue. It's luxury brand washing.
Hermes, you guys, it's time to show off your factories. No, I don't want to wait to go on YouTube and watch a beautiful documentary on. Show them off right here on TikTok. Let the world see. Okay, get like China. You gotta be ghetto about it. Just let people know.
Some expressing shock, others hinting at their own experiences with the toxic dynamics behind the scenes. Amid the chaos, the rival faction within the manufacturing world didn't remain silent. In an unprecedented move, they released a public statement denying the allegations of sabotage and accusing their opponents of fabricating stories to cover up their own misdeeds. This faction claimed to champion ethical manufacturing practices and vowed to fight for a more transparent and fair fashion industry. But many questioned the sincerity of these claims, suspecting them to be a strategic ploy in a high-stakes game of chess. Megyn didn't back down. She unveiled confidential documents suggesting that the rival faction's rise was not as innocent as they claimed. Allegations of bribery, intimidation, and underhanded deals surfaced, painting a picture of an industry steeped in corruption at every level. Kelly's passionate monologues captivated audiences as she described the industry as a battlefield where greed trumps creativity and power silences truth. The drama spilled onto the runways themselves. With New York Fashion Week shuttered, alternative shows and underground events began popping up, often organized in secret and shrouded in mystery. These guerrilla fashion shows became a symbol of resistance, attracting up-and-coming designers eager to prove their talent outside the shadow of the traditional powers. Yet, even these events were not free from controversy, as accusations of sabotage and spying emerged, fueling the paranoia. Behind closed doors, lawyers and lobbyists moved quickly, scrambling to negotiate deals that could salvage what remained of the season. Industry veterans warned that the scandal could have long-lasting effects on global fashion, potentially shifting power centers to other cities like Paris or Milan. The uncertainty sent shockwaves through investors and sponsors, many of whom were,
It starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. Put the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every bag.
This is why this bag from our factory only costs you 1,000 USD.
Have you all seen that TikTok by the Chinese guy exposing how luxury goods are actually made? The only real difference? China ships the products to Europe, slaps on a made in France or made in Italy label, and boom, luxury? It's ridiculous.
reconsidering their commitments. At the heart of this storm, Megyn Kelly remained a lightning rod for attention. Her fearless reporting had made her both a hero and a target. Threatening messages and attempts to discredit her surfaced, but she stood firm, vowing to continue her investigation. "I will not be silenced," she declared in a fiery statement, her determination fueling her growing fan base. As the story continued to unfold, one thing was clear. The shutdown of New York Fashion Week was far more than a simple cancellation. It was the epicenter of a dramatic power struggle, filled with deception, ambition, and heartbreak. And with Megyn Kelly leading the charge to expose the truth, the final act of this scandal was still unwritten. The scandal surrounding the New York Fashion Week shutdown had reached a fever pitch, and just when many thought the story had run its course, Megyn Kelly dropped what could only be described as the ultimate bombshell. Exclusive footage leaked. To her team revealed a clandestine meeting between the top figures of both the rival Chinese manufacturing factions and the leading designers involved in the conspiracy. The video showed tense exchanges, sharp accusations, and negotiations that reeked of desperation and betrayal. This was not merely business. It was a high-stakes drama playing out in real time. The video footage exposed raw emotions rarely seen by the public. One designer, visibly shaking, accused the manufacturers of holding the entire industry hostage. "You think you can crush us? We built this together," the designer shouted, voice breaking under pressure. A manufacturing executive retorted coldly, "Without us, your dresses are just fabric. Remember who controls the seams." The family tensions previously reported came into stark relief here, as siblings on opposing sides argued fiercely over loyalty and legacy, threatening to tear apart their dynasty. Megyn Kelly's coverage didn't just stop at airing the footage. She invited industry experts and insiders onto her platform to analyze the implications. The consensus was grim. If these power struggles continued unchecked, the very essence of New York Fashion Week could be irrevocably damaged. "This isn't just a feud," one expert said. "It's a fight for survival, for control over the soul of fashion itself." Social media exploded once again as the leaked footage went viral. Fans expressed shock, outrage, and fascination, flooding comment sections with heated debates. "How deep does this go?" one fan wrote. "Is the fashion industry broken beyond repair?" another asked. The hashtag #FashionExposed trended globally, with millions tuning in to follow the drama as it unfolded. The personal cost of the scandal was becoming painfully clear. Several designers withdrew from public life, their careers left in tatters. Families once celebrated for their unity and success were splintered, with some members retreating into silence while others publicly lashed out. Rumors swirled of secret deals and betrayals that would change alliances overnight. In a dramatic turn, one of the key manufacturing executives involved released a public statement distancing himself from the sabotage allegations. Instead,
This Himalaya virgin from boutique cost you $66,000 US. But do you know what the real cost from our factory? Let me show you the numbers. First, the leather. This Himalaya first-brand leather is supplied by the company HCP from front. And one piece of this Himalaya leather costs 1,300. One for the front, one for the back, and another one for the two sides. So 3 pieces is 3,900. Interior lining is imported lambskin, and the cost is about $200. Also, exactly the same brand, 25 hardware is set with diamonds, $700. Total order, the cost is $30, and the VIP, $350. And at last, the cost for this 30-year experienced artisan's labor and skills is $700. Same material from the same supplier for those boutique bags by our factory is $6,000.
Blaming rogue elements within the industry for the chaos. This move only added to the confusion, leaving many wondering who could be truly trusted. Meanwhile, underground fashion events continued to gain momentum, serving as both a rebellion against the established order and a beacon of hope for new talent. Designers showcased innovative collections that broke the mold, challenging the old guard and capturing the imagination of fans worldwide. Yet even these hopeful signs were shadowed by whispers of espionage and sabotage, a reminder that the battle for power was far from over. Megyn Kelly's relentless pursuit of the truth earned her both admiration and enmity. Despite threats and attempts to silence her, she remained undeterred, promising her audience that she would not rest until every secret was uncovered. "This story is far from over," she declared, "and I will be here to tell you every shocking detail." As the dust began to settle, the fashion world faced a crossroads. Would the industry heal and rebuild, or would the wounds inflicted by greed and betrayal leave permanent scars? The families torn apart, the alliances forged and broken, and the fierce battles behind the scenes hinted that the fallout would be felt for years to come. For now, Megyn Kelly had exposed a world few dared to glimpse, a world where glamour masked ruthless ambition and where every stitch told a story of power and survival. The question on everyone's mind: what happens next? The saga of Megyn. Kelly's explosive investigation into the New York Fashion Week shutdown has taken us on a wild ride through betrayal, power struggles, and shocking secrets behind the glitz and glamour. But the story is far from over. With new alliances forming, families divided, and the industry at a critical crossroads, we can only wait and watch as the drama unfolds even further. What do you think will happen next? Will the fashion world recover, or is this just the beginning of a much bigger collapse? If you're as hooked on this story as we are, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest updates and exclusive inside scoops. Don't forget to comment below with your theories and who you think is really pulling the strings behind the scenes. Your voice matters in this unfolding drama, so join the conversation now and stay tuned for more shocking revelations. This is just the start, and you won't want to miss what comes next.